Hello everybody. Today we will study another chapter relating to consumption, that is demand. There are various things to be studied or discussed in demand, but in this part we will study or discuss what is demand or what is the meaning of demand and what is the meaning of demand for a commodity and what are the determinants of demand or what are the factors influencing demand. First, we will study what is demand, what is meaning of demand, and what is the meaning of demand for a commodity. In common language, demand means desire for a commodity. The term want, desire and demand are interchangeably used by common people to show their mere desire for a commodity. You see, generally what people understand by demand is the desire for a commodity or the want for a commodity. If they have want for a commodity or they have the desire to possess a commodity or a good or service, then that is demand in general sense. But mere desire, that means mere desire for a commodity is demand, and these concepts, these words, the want, desire and demand, they are used by common people as synonyms. But mere desire for a commodity is not demand in economics. Demand in economics refers to effective desire. Remember it. Mere desire is not demand in economics. In economics, a desire to be demand must be effective desire. What is effective desire? Effective desire means desire for a commodity backed by ability to pay and willingness to pay for it. It means mere desire for a commodity is not demand in economics because it is not effective demand. Effective desire, a desire for a commodity can be turned into effective desire only if three things are fulfilled, and they are: number one, desire for the commodity, and number two, ability to pay for the commodity, and number three, willingness to pay for it or willingness to pay for the commodity. What this line indicates, you mark again. Effective desire means desire for a commodity backed by ability to pay and willingness to pay for it. Thus, effective desire includes three elements. They are: number one, desire to possess the commodity; number two, ability to pay for the commodity; and number three, willingness to pay for the commodity. These three things, these three concepts or elements must be present so that a desire can be effective desire or demand in economics. Suppose a person has the desire to have a car, but he does not have the required money to purchase it, then his desire for a car is not demand in economics. Why? You see, he has the desire to possess a car. Number one, first element is right. Yes, first element is there, but he has no ability to pay for the commodity. He does not have the required money to purchase it. Means he has no ability to pay for the commodity. So, as he has no ability to pay for the commodity, or he does not possess the purchasing power, that's why mere desire to have a car by a person without having the money to purchase it is not demand in economics. Similarly, if a person has the desire to possess a car and he has the required money, but if he does not want to spend his money, then also that sort of desire is not demand in economics. Mark here. The person has the desire to possess a car. First element is there, that is desire to possess a commodity. He has the required money. Second element is also present, that is ability to pay. But if he does not want to spend his money, it means he has no willingness to pay for the car. He wants a car, he has the required money, he possesses the required money, but he is not in a mood to pay for the car. He does not want to spend the money for the car. So, due to lack of willingness to pay, desire for a car by this person is also not demand in economics. Thus, demand in economics means desire backed by ability and willingness to pay for a commodity. Remember it. Demand means desire. Desire means desire for a commodity backed by ability. Ability means ability to pay for the commodity and willingness to pay for the commodity. So, three things must be essential in order to be termed as demand or effective desire in economics. So, mere desire is not demand in economics, only effective desires are demand in economics. And effective desire means three things are essential. Number one is desire to possess the commodity, number two is ability to pay for the commodity, and number three is willingness to pay for the commodity. If any one of the three factor remains absent, is not present, then that sort of desire is not demand in economics. Next we will discuss regarding demand for a commodity. What do you mean by demand for a commodity? Demand for a commodity means the quantity of a commodity which a consumer is willing to buy at a given price in a given period of time. From this definition, we know that demand denotes three elements, namely quantity, price, and time. Again, I repeat, demand for a commodity means the quantity of a commodity which a consumer is willing to buy at given price in a given period of time. There is a period of time, there is a price. Demand is always at a price. Without price, we cannot define demand. Demand is always at a price. Demand always depends upon a price of the commodity. At various prices, demands vary. And it also refers to a point of time or a given period of time. From this definition, we know that, so it is mentioned here, demand for a commodity means the quantity of a commodity which a consumer is willing to buy at a given price in a given period of time. What quantity a consumer is willing to buy at a particular price and during a given period of time. That is demand for a commodity. From this definition, we know that demand denotes three elements, namely quantity. First, there is quantity. Quantity refers to quantity of the commodity which is demanded or which is to be demanded. And number two is price. Price means price of the commodity, and time means during a particular period of time. So three elements are included when we say regarding demand for a commodity. Demand is always at a price and refers to a period of time. It refers to the quantity of a good which is bought per unit of time at a given price. What quantity you buy at a given price and at a particular point of time or during a period of time, that is known as demand for a commodity. So it refers to the quantity of a good which is bought per unit of time at a given price. We can say that the demand for sugar at rupees 40 per kg was 5 quintal yesterday. Mark this statement. All the three elements are present. What is the commodity? Sugar is the commodity. What is the quantity of commodity that is purchased? 5 quintals. What is the time? Yesterday. What is the price? Rupees 40 per kg. So three elements are present in this statement. So we can say that the demand for sugar at rupees 40 per kg was 5 quintal yesterday. Again, we have mentioned in the slide, the slide given in the side of this. You see in the right side, there is a slide, concept of demand. Again, we have just clarified it. The points: demand for a commodity refers to the number of units of a particular good or service that consumers are willing and able to purchase during a specified period at a given price. The same thing is repeated here. It refers, but it is easy to remember if you go through this slide. Demand for a commodity refers to the number of units of a particular good. What is the number of units of a particular good that is to be purchased, that the consumer is going to purchase at a particular price or given price during a specified period of time? That is demand for a commodity. The concept of demand for a commodity demonstrates the following characteristics. Demand is always with reference to price. Number one, remember this. Demand is referred to in a given period of time. It also refers to a time. Time means we can say that this much is the demand at this price in a day, or in a week, or in a month, right? So we must mention the time period, that during this week this much was demanded, during the last month this much was demanded at this price, during a particular day this is the quantity demanded at this price. So it also refers to a given period of time. Then consumer must have the necessary purchasing power to back his desire for the commodity. We have already discussed that if you have only desire to possess a good, but you have no price, you have no purchasing power, you are unable to give its value, its price, then it is not demand. Then consumer must also be ready to exchange his money for the commodity in question. It is willing to pay. It is willingness to pay of the consumer, whether the consumer has the willingness to pay or not. If he has no willingness to pay, then that is not demand. That sort of desire is not demand in economics. Next we will come to determinants of demand, or we can say the factors influencing demand, or what are the factors that determine the demand or demand for a commodity. Demand for a commodity is determined or influenced by several factors like price of the commodity, price of relative goods, income of the consumer, taste and preference, population size, distribution of income, taxation policy of the government, etc. So there are various factors which influence, which determine the demand for a commodity. They influence the demand for a commodity. What are they? We have already mentioned in the first para. We will go in detail. There are some extra points also. So number one, the price of the commodity. The demand for a commodity depends on its price. What is the price of the commodity? Demand mainly, we have already discussed that demand is always at a price, and generally we have the experience that when the price of a commodity increases, quantity demanded falls, and when the price of a commodity falls, quantity demanded increases. Or we can say correctly that when the price of a commodity falls, quantity demanded expands, and when the price of a commodity increases, quantity demanded contracts, right? So there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. There is an inverse relationship, means there is a opposite relationship in between price and quantity demanded. They go in opposite direction, right? Other factors remaining constant, change in price of a commodity causes change in demand. Other factors remaining constant means the factors which influence demand, after they remain constant, change in price only when the price of a commodity changes, it causes a change in demand. So there is an opposite relationship between price and quantity demanded. The quantity demanded for a commodity always depends on its price. A rise in price brings contraction. A rise in price brings contraction in demand, and a fall in price causes expansion of demand. Okay. Next, number 2, price of relative goods. Number 1, price of the commodity itself. Number 2, price of relative goods. Demand for a commodity depends upon the prices of relative goods. What are relative goods? Relative goods refers to two type of goods. They are substitute goods, number 1, and number 2, complementary goods. Both substitute goods and complementary goods, they are relative goods. Anyhow, they are related to each other, to one another. Substitute goods are those goods which can be used in place of each other, like tea and coffee, wheat and rice, right? So these are substitute goods, because what do you mean by substitutes? If one good is not available, we can satisfy our want by taking the other good. In this case, both the goods are substitutes of each other. Complementary goods are those goods which complete the demand for each other and are therefore demanded together. When we are going to satisfy a particular want, in some cases we want a group of things together to satisfy a particular want. We want a group of things. We want to consume a group of things to satisfy a particular want. Then these group of things, they are known as complementary goods. These goods are known as complementary goods. They are demanded jointly to fulfill a certain want, a particular want of the consumer. In other words, complementary goods are those goods which jointly satisfy a particular want. For instance, car and petrol, right? You cannot drive a car unless there is petrol. You cannot write in pen if there is no ink, right? So car and petrol and pen and ink, they are complementary goods. In case of substitute goods, increase in price of one causes increase in demand for the other, and decrease in price of one causes decrease in the demand for other. Come to the substitute goods. What are the substitute goods? I've already told you, tea and coffee, rice and wheat, they are substitute goods. When price of tea increases, demand for coffee will increase. When price of tea falls, demand for coffee will fall, right? If there is an increase in one commodity, there will be a decrease in the other commodity. If there is an increase in the price of one commodity, the demand for other commodity will increase, right? So in case of substitute goods, increase in price of one causes increase in demand for other, and decrease in price of one causes decrease in the demand for other. When the price of tea increases, the demand for tea will come down, and you will demand more of coffee, even if the price of coffee remains constant. Without any change in the price of coffee, you will demand more of tea. As the price of tea increases, tea and coffee are substitute goods. So an increase in price of one causes an increase in demand for the other. Similarly, if the price of tea falls, naturally the demand for tea will increase and the demand for coffee will fall, right? So we have already mentioned here, you see, in case of substitute goods, increase in price of one causes increase in demand for other, and decrease in price of one causes decrease in demand for other. So decrease in price of tea causes decrease in demand for coffee. This is the case of substitute goods. If X and Y are substitutes, if X and Y are substitute goods, the price price of one commodity and quantity demanded of other commodity goes in the same direction. If price of one commodity, the first commodity increases, quantity demanded of the second commodity will increase. If the price of first commodity decreases, the quantity demanded of second commodity will decrease. This is the case in case of substitute goods. They go in same direction. Price of one commodity and the quantity demanded of another commodity, they go in same direction, right? But in case of complementary goods, I've already told you, the goods which are jointly demanded to satisfy a particular want. We have already taken the example or instance of car and petrol, pen and ink. These are the complementary goods, and in case of complementary goods, a fall in the price of one causes increase in the demand of the other, and the rise in price of one causes decrease in the demand for the other. You see, when the price of car increases, the demand for car will come down. ठीक है ना? And when the demand for car falls, naturally the demand for petrol will also fall. So you see, price of car increases, but demand for petrol falls. Car and petrol are complementary goods. So what happened? In case of complementary goods, a fall in the price of one causes an increase in the demand of the other, and a rise in price of one causes decrease in the demand for the other, right? If there is a fall in the price of car, naturally more of car will be demanded and more of petrol will also be demanded. So a fall in price of one commodity causes a rise in demand for other commodities. They go in opposite direction. In case of complementary goods, one's price and others demand, they go in opposite direction, in inverse direction. Inverse relationship is there, right? Next we will come to the third point, third factor that influences demand, that is the income of the consumer. In most cases, there is a direct relationship between income and demand. Higher the income, the larger will be demanded, and vice versa. It means demand for a commodity depends on the income of the consumer. When income increases, demand increases, and when income falls, demand also falls, right? But what it means, what do you mean? When income of a consumer increases, his purchasing power also increases. So he can purchase more of the commodity. That's why demand increases. But when income falls, his purchasing power also falls. So he can purchase less of a good because his purchasing power falls. But the effect of change in income on consumers' demand depends upon the nature of the good, whether the good is normal good or an inferior good. Generally, we say that there is a direct relationship between income and demand, income of the consumer and demand. Income increases means demand increases, income falls means demand falls. But in certain cases, consumers' demand depends upon the nature of good, whether the good is a normal good or an inferior good. In case of normal goods, an increase in the money income of a consumer increases the demand for it, and a fall in income reduces the demand for it. We are talking about actually normal goods. Generally, we are talking of normal goods. In case of normal goods, in case of general goods, in case of goods which are actually used by everybody in every day, they are mostly normal goods. And in case of normal goods, quantity demanded increases with an increase in income, and quantity demanded falls with an fall in income, right? In case of normal goods, an increase in the money income of a consumer increases the demand for it, and a fall in income reduces the demand for it. But in case of inferior good, An increase in income leads to a fall in demand for them because the consumers can now afford to buy normal goods. When you see the income of a consumer increases, his purchasing power increases, he will not go to buy more of inferior goods. Rather than he will want to divert his money income, the extra income, towards purchasing normal goods. So, in case of inferior good, an increase in income leads to a fall in demand, and a fall in income leads to a rise in demand for them. So, income and demand are inversely related in case of inferior goods, whereas they are directly related in case of normal goods. This was the third point. And the fourth point is taste and preference. Taste and preference also influence the demand for a commodity. See, demand for a commodity is affected by taste and preference of the consumer. Change in taste and preference of consumer causes change in demand. When the taste and preference of a consumer towards a particular good changes, naturally the demand for that good will also change. If they like a commodity, they want to consume a commodity due to a good taste and preference, then their demand will increase. Taste and preference are influenced by fashion, habits, customs, inventions, climate, advertisement, etc. So there are many things, many factors which causes the taste and preference of the consumers to change. Demand for those goods increases for which consumers develop taste and preferences, and demand for those goods decreases for which consumers have no taste or no preference. Right. So this is why how taste and preference affects consumers' demand. Now we'll come to the next point. Another factor influencing demand, that is population, or you can say size of population or population size. Demand for various commodities increases with increase in population and decreases with decrease in population. It is because with the increase in population, the number of buyers for various products increases, and with the decrease in population, the number of buyers for various products decreases. Right? Size of population generally mostly affect the demand for a commodity. You mark, with an increase in the size of population or family members, the demand also goes up. But with a decrease in the size of population or family members, their demand for any commodity falls. Right? Because when the size of population increases, the number of buyers will increase also. Right? The number of consumers increases. Population means they are consumers. When the size of consumers increases or the number of buyers increases, they will buy more of the commodity. So, with a rise in population, demand rises. Similarly, with a fall in population, demand falls. Next, we will come to the another point, that is number 6, distribution of income. Demand is also influenced by the pattern of income distribution in a country. So, demand is also influenced by the pattern of income distribution in a country. If income is equitably distributed, there will be more demand. If income is not equitably distributed, there will be less demand. When income is evenly or equitably distributed, the demand for necessaries and comforts will increase. But if income is not equally distributed, there will be more demand for luxury goods by the rich persons. So what we mean? What we understand? Demand is influenced by the pattern of income distribution in a country. The distribution of income and wealth in a country influences the demand for various commodities. If in a country or if in an economy the income is equitably or evenly distributed, there will be more demand, because you see, when the income is equitably or evenly distributed, rich becomes less rich and poor becomes less poor. right? And when the income of poor people increases, their purchasing power increases, they will demand more of goods. But when the purchasing power of the poor increases, they will demand mainly the necessary goods and partly the comfortable items. So, by equitable distribution of income, the demand increases and the demand of mainly necessary and comfortable items will increase, will increase, right? So, if there is evenly distributed income, if the income in a country is evenly distributed or equitably distributed or equally distributed, there will be more demand, because the poor people who were poor before, they will come to purchase more and more of necessary goods. But if income is not equally distributed, it is not evenly distributed, it is inequitably distributed. If the income in a country is inequitably distributed, there will be more demand for luxury goods, because they already possess the necessary goods. They want more and more luxurious items, the rich persons. So if it is not equitably distributed, means not evenly distributed, means rich becomes richer and poor becomes poorer. Rich will be more rich and poor will be more poor. So in this situation, if that is not equitably distributed, if the income and wealth is not equitably distributed in a country, there will be more demand for luxury goods. And if they are equitably distributed, there will be more demand for necessary and comfortable items. Right. Next, we will go to another point, that is taxation policy of the government. Demand for a commodity is also affected by the taxation policy of the government. By imposing and increasing the tax amount, it brings about a change in disposable income of the people as well as the price of the product. You see, when the government imposes some taxes or increases the tax amount, then what happens? By imposing tax, disposable income will also change. If the government imposes more and more tax, the disposable income of the people will fall. And what happens? It also affects the price of the product. How? Because by imposing tax or by increasing the tax amount on particular goods or products, their price will increase. Mark, by imposing or increasing the tax amount, two things happens. What? Number one, the disposable income of people will fall, and number two, the price of the products will rise. When the disposable income of the people is going to fall, definitely they will demand less, because the purchasing power of people depends upon the disposable income. If there is a fall in disposable income, there will be a fall in demand. If there is a rise in the price of the products, if there is a rise in the price of the various goods, or if the price of various goods rises, naturally the law of demand will be applied. It means with a rise in price, less will be demanded. So this is how the taxation policy of the government influences the total demand in a country. By imposing direct tax on or income tax, you right thing, by imposing direct tax or direct tax on income of people, when the government imposes direct tax on the income of the people, it reduces their disposable income and their demand for various products. It reduces their disposable income and their demand for various products. Direct tax imposes means your purchasing power falls and your demand will also fall. Imposition of more and more indirect tax lead to an increase in the price of the product and thereby a reduction in the demand for goods. When more tax is levied on different goods, indirect tax, then their price will increase, and with an increase in price or with a rise in price, the demand will also fall. By reducing the amount of tax, both direct and indirect tax, just the opposite holds good. It means when the government imposes and increases more and more, increases the amount of tax, then demand will fall. And when the government reduces the amount of tax, then either by reducing the direct tax or indirect tax, then what happens? The purchasing power of people will increase and they will demand more of the goods. Next, we will come to the next point, that is number 8, climate. A change in climatic condition is a change in climatic condition also affects the demand for a good. In cold climate, woolen garments and hot drinks are in greater demand, whereas in summer demand for cotton cloths and cold drinks are in great demand. You see how climate influences or determines the total demand in a country. In cold climate, woolen garments and hot drinks are demanded. In summer season, cotton cloths and cold drinks are demanded. In rainy seasons, more and more umbrellas are demanded. Therefore, change in season or climate affect the demand for a particular commodity. Understand? Next, we will come to point 9, that is state of economic activity. State of economic activity in a country also affect the demand for various commodities in a country. During the period of depression in an economy, market demand decreases due to less purchasing power of the people. When there is depression, when there is deflation condition or depression, when all sort of activities goes down, they go down, employment, income, production, every sort of economic activity, other economic activities, they go down, they fall, then there will be a decrease in demand because the purchasing power of people will fall. So in the condition of depression, purchasing power of people falls and they demand less of the goods. But during the period of prosperity, when income, employment and investment rises, demand rises. During the period of prosperity, when there is economic development, when there is development in every sort of economic activity, then the income of people increases due to an increase in employment and investment. So when the investment, employment and income in a country increases, then demand will go up, demand for commodity rises. So this is how the state of economic activity influences the total demand in a country. Next point, that is point 10, advertisement. Nowadays, advertisement takes an important role in increasing the demand for various goods. Advertisement in attractive ways through attractive personalities influences the customers to increase the demand for certain goods. In cinemas, in TVs, in different serials, we are going through various advertisements. Advertisements means advertisement for various goods, and these advertisements are generally given by attractive personalities, film heroes or film heroines, like such, like that. And by giving advertisement through attractive personalities, the general customers, they attracts to the goods for which advertisement is given. So advertisement also increases or influences the demand for certain goods. Next we will come to another point, that is point 11, that is innovation. Due to innovation, there may be new taste or better quality in the market that results in more demand for certain goods. Right? Due to innovation. What do you mean by innovation? Innovation means new methods, new ideas, technological innovation, new technology, new method, new idea, new technology which are applied during the production process by the entrepreneur. When the entrepreneur applies new methods or new ideas or new techniques in the production system, it will be of better quality, right? So when quality of a commodity increases, the demand also will increase. So innovation also reflects or influences or affects the quantity demanded of a good. Next we will come to point 12, that is inventions and discoveries. Inventions and discoveries bring new things to the market with the result that old things are no longer wanted. Thus, this affects the demand for a commodity. So inventions and discoveries, they bring new goods to the market. They bring inventions, bring new things, new goods, new commodities to the market. When new commodities come to the market, enter into the market, so nobody will ask, nobody will go for the old things, the old goods, right? So invention and discoveries bring new things to the market with the result that old things are no longer wanted. Does this affect the demand for a commodity? Next, we'll come to the last point, that is demonstration effect in consumption. Demonstration effect in consumption, that is point 13. Number 13 point. Sometimes people require more things by imitating the standard of living of prosperous neighbors. This is known as demonstration effect in consumption. This causes more of demand. What is demonstration effect? Demonstration effect in consumption means many people, they are attracted by the standard of living, they are influenced by the standard of living of the neighbors with good standard of living, with good income, and these general people, they start imitating them, imitating their standard of living, and by imitating their standard of living or the standard of living of the prosperous neighbors, they come to demand some new goods as well as more of certain goods. So this is how the demand increases due to demonstration effect in consumption. So this is all about the factors influencing or the factors determining demand for a commodity. And we have also given below a slide just to remember, just to memorize the points. Some points are not also given here, but some important points are given here. You have to remember them. Plus, you have to remember all other points which we have already discussed. So, with this, we will come to end today's discussion. Thank you. Have a good day. We will meet again in our next class in another concept of the demand.